This is Mike Møller Nielsen, and I'm going to teach you how to write clean, efficient Java code using Java methods. If you want to reuse code, then methods are necessary. And of course, complementary to this video, there will be links and resources in the description below. If you like these videos, then please subscribe, hit that like button and hit the notification bell so you know when we have new stuff coming up. Without any further ado, let's get started. A method contains one or more statements and has some instructions that can be run again and again. Let us start by looking at the static methods. When you start your program with Java, then you run a public static void main. That is an entry point for your Java program, and this is what I marked right here. I have this project right here that I've created through IntelliJ, and I used File, New, Project, and then I chose the Spring Initializer just because then I have a good foundation for my Java program. I chose Gradle just because I prefer Gradle. If you prefer Maven as your dependency manager, then choose Maven instead. Then I chose SDK 16 right now and compatibility for Java 11. Then I pressed Next, and then I found the Spring Web module right here. That is just if I wanted to create a web program, then I already have this dependency. Then I pressed Finish, and then I ended up with this project right here. Just if you are curious about how I created this project. I'm using IntelliJ Ultimate version, but you can also use Community Edition, which is fine when you want to learn about Java. Then I've created this class inside my main area right here. Here I have a Java folder. That is where all my Java code is placed. And then I have a package named space right here. And inside my space package, then I have placed some classes. The first class that I have right here is my program, and that is where I have placed the entry point, public static void main right here. That is an entry point, and entry point means that is something that can be called from outside, maybe from a terminal or maybe from your integrated development environment, your IDE, like IntelliJ or Eclipse if you prefer Eclipse. So let us look at this method signature. The first line in the method, that is called the method signature right here. And it actually has a lot of complex stuff that you need to know about when you start up learning Java. And this is one of the difficult things when you start up learning about Java. Then these things tend to confuse people in the beginning, because first of all you need to know that there's something called scope. Scope is from where you can actually execute this method. And we have public, private, protected. Those are the scopes that you can add here. And this public right here is called the public. This is called the scope modifier. And in this situation, I can call my program from wherever I want. And if you want to have an entry point for your program, then you need to scope modify your method with public. Then there's something else right here that is static. This means that you do not need to have an instance of the class in order to call this method right here. You can actually call this method directly on the class. That is what static means. Then we have void. That is the return type. That is, what is this method going to return to us? And when you run a main program, then it's not going to return anything. It's going to execute some things, it's going to run some instructions, but it's not going to return anything in this situation right here. And that is where void comes in. So void means we do not return anything. Then we have the name of the method itself, and it needs to be named main if you want to call it from outside from outside your Java program. Then it needs to have that name main. And it also needs to have these arguments that you have right here. You need to take an array of strings. That means that we can actually give it as many string arguments as we want, and then we can do something with these arguments. Then I've added a system out print line right here. That is so we get some output in our terminal or in our console. And the first statement is program begin, and then we have a blank line, and then we have program end. So we could actually also print out the arguments that we get for this program. That means that from a terminal we can run the program with Java and then the name of the class, and then we can actually give some arguments after that. And let us print those arguments out, and we can use the enhanced for loop, which is the name for this kind of for loop. This means that I will write string and then arguments and then colon and then args. So this is the enhanced for loop. This means I'm not using the index of inside the string array. I just say that I want all of the arguments inside the arguments the args array one by one, and then we can then print out. And instead of writing system.out.println, you can just write south if you're using Eclipse IntelliJ, and then it will actually complete this line for you. Then we write an argument like this, an argument colon, and then we can use the plus like this, and then we can add the arg like this. And then we actually print out the arguments like that. So now there's two ways of running this program through IntelliJ, and one is actually just to press the press the green arrow just next to the method. You can see there's a small green arrow right there. Let us start by pressing that button right here, because that is the easiest way. And what actually happens is that we will actually get a run configuration, and I'll just show you how that looks in just a minute. Let us just see how it runs. We have this console in the bottom right side right now. And let us just see. Program begin, program end. And since we did not add any arguments, then there's nothing else. Now we can see we actually have a run configuration up in this drop down right here. And we got that for free. We did not have to create this ourselves because we pressed the little green play button next to the method. Now let's say that I want to edit how it is run. I want to add some arguments to the program execution. Then I can press edit configurations like this. Then I can find my program, and then I can add some arguments right here. And I can add quotes around my arguments. So that means that I can have longer strings. Then I can have hello, my friends. That is one argument. Then I write space, and then I can add another argument, which could be we are learning about Java. Then we can have a third one, which is this is the last argument. So now I passed on 3 arguments to this program right here. Then I can press OK. And now if I press the green button in the top, press play on that, then we will now run this program, which is the static void main method, and we will run it with the 3 arguments that I just added right there. And here we can see now the loop goes through each argument, and we can see an argument, hello my friend, an argument, we are learning about Java, and an argument, this is the last argument. So that is how to handle arguments, and arguments will always have the type string. So if let's say that you want to have a number instead, then you need to convert that. You need to cast it. You need to check that it is what you actually expect it to be, and then you have to cast it to some kind of you have to convert it to an integer, for instance, or long, or to a big decimal, or whatever kind of number you prefer to use. You have to do that yourself, because there is always strings that we are providing for this method right here. Then we have when we are running this public static void main, then we are in something called a static context. That means if you want to run other methods directly, maybe on the same class, then they also need to be static. And right here I've created another static method. I have scoped it private just to show. Then that means that then it's only from within this class. That means that it's actually right now is only this method right now that I can actually call this other method right here. And then I take a magic number, an integer, as an argument. And then I've added an exception to this method, because methods can actually have they can have some exceptions on their method signature, which actually shows what kind of exception could happen when inside this method right here. In my situation right here, then I am taking this magic number, and I want this magic number to be above 10. So that means that if it's below or equal to 10, then I am throwing an illegal argument exception, and that is a very good exception to throw if you're not happy with the arguments that you get inside the methods. You can of course also create your own exceptions, but this video will not cover that part. But illegal argument exception is very good if there's something wrong when you validate the arguments for the method. And then you can add a text that you want to add yourself. The number should be higher than 10, and we can actually add this a little bit. We can add some more to this. The number you provided was colon, and then we can then add the magic number like this. And an integer will automatically be converted into a string when you use the plus operator like this, and when you have a string in front of the number. That is why I do not need to cast this to a number, or to a string, sorry. Then we print out, if everything went right, then we print out system out print line. Another method has been called with a magic number, and then we print out the magic number. That is if there's no errors. And we can also, now we have the if statement, we could also write else like this. And of course we could also put the brackets around them, so it is a little bit more easier to read. So now I'm using brackets around my if statement. And now it's much more easy. It's easier to read. So now let us try to call this other method from our program up here. I'll just comment out by pressing Control and then / and I'll comment out these 3 lines right here. And now I will call the other method like this, and the magic number in this situation right here is then 42. Let us try to run the program again by pressing the green play button right there. So let's see what happens now. So now we have program begin. Another method has been called with the magic number of 42, and program end. That's pretty awesome. Now let us look at methods belonging to a class, and I have created 2 classes in this situation right here. I have created the captain and the spaceship. My captain has one member variable, which is the string. Then we have something called a constructor. So this is not a method, this is called a constructor. It has the same name as the class. It does not have a return, it does not have a return type, because this is a constructor. It will always return an instance of this class right here. And then I've created a getter method right here. So this is a getter method. That is a special type of method that will return the value of a member variable. That's called a getter or get method. And I've scoped it with public. That means that it can be reached from the outside. Then I've also created a setter right here, or a set method right here for the name, for the member variable. That means that then I can set the value. If I don't want to set the value after I've set it initially to the constructor, then I can delete the set name right here. If I delete this method right here, then it can only be set when we create the captain initially, and then we can only get the value after that. And if you, as you can see right here, we had, I'll just press Control Z for undo, so we can just see the method signature again. The getter returns a string. It does not take any arguments. A setter returns void. That means that it does not return anything, but it takes a string as an argument. Some people actually like to return the value. So they actually like to have all of the setters return something. That means that it could be the value that we just set. Return this .name. and that is also okay. So that is just, it's still a setter, but it returns something. So setters can actually also return stuff if we want it to. I'll keep it simple right now, so I'll just keep it void, because we do not need we know what it is that we are setting it to, and of course we expect that that the class actually acts as expected. But let me just delete the set name now, so now we can only get the name after we have initially set it to the constructor right there. Now I have another method which is say hello to, and here we have another type of argument for the method. This is called a var args, which this arrived in Java 5, and this is just an array of strings, but it actually means that you can actually give as many strings as you want to this method right here. That is what it means. But it's called a var arg. Variable arguments. Yeah, and this method right here, it is not static, as you can see. That means that there needs to be an instance. It needs to be called on an instance of the captain. So it needs to be called on a captain. And in this situation, the purpose of this method is to say hello to a lot of friends. So we pass on some friends, and then the captain will politely go through each of the friends, and then he will say hello, my friend. Or she will say hello, my friend, and then each of the friends right there. Now let us try to use this captain right here in my program. So I'll go back to my method right here. Again, I'll comment the other method just to keep it simple. We could also have deleted the code. And then I will create a new captain, and I'll name this captain Mike. So I've created a new captain right here. I can set it to a variable if I want to. I can also use it directly. That is up to me. So introduce local variable. Yes, thank you very much. So here we have Mike, and then I can say Mike.say hello to, and here we can say Susan. We can say John. We can write Henrik, and we can write Gertrud. Like this. Now we have 4 friends to say hello to, which is, yeah. And so now let us try to run the program again. And I run it by pressing the green arrow again, right here. I can also press Shift F10 instead. That is the shortcut for run program. Of course, I could also have made it a little bit more advanced, and then I could have taken all of these arguments for the program, and then I could have used those as input for the say hello to method, and then it could be dynamic, which friends the captain will say hello to. So here's my program. Program begin, and then we say hello, my friend Susan. Hello, my friend John. Hello, my friend Henrik. Hello, my friend Gertrud. Cool. So what I did here was I actually gave a value. So this is a value that I gave to the constructor. This means that I'm passing also here, I'm passing arguments by value. This means that it does not matter if these values are being changed inside the method. If I have a string out here that said string some name equal to Susan, like this, and then let us say that I added some name like this, because this is some name, because this variable has the type string, then this will actually be sent by value. So that means that even though that some name should be changed inside the hello to method, then this variable out here would not be changed. And if I use it in another line further down, then the value of the some name will still be Susan, even though I've changed inside the method to maybe Eric or something else like that. And this is because it is sent by value to the method. If you send an object, let us say that I sent an instance of an object. Let us say I have a spaceship, new spaceship right here. And right now it takes a model, but let us go to our spaceship and just change it a little bit. I have my spaceship right here. I have 2 member variables, model and captain. And then I have a constructor right here, which is just model. I will then add a new constructor by pressing Alt Insert. Then I can generate a new constructor for myself right here. And then I will add the two member variables. And now I got a constructor that have the model and the captain. So if I create a new spaceship right now, then I can give a model. The model could be round, and the spaceship's name, the captain's name could, or the captain could be Mike. That is, now I'm passing on a variable by reference. That means that if I'm manipulating Mike inside the new spaceship, then it will actually be changed. Then Mike will actually be changed. So we'll just say spaceship equal to, and then we can say that, and then we can create it like this. And let us just go to captain. We can go to we can here inside my captain. I could actually have something called experience. This could be an experience level of how good I am at flying the spaceship, maybe. Or the captain is at flying the spaceship. And I'll create getters and setters for this one also. And I will also add this member variable experience to the constructor, like this. Let us go back to my program. Here we have now Mike, and then I will also add a level of experience. Maybe my level starts with 10, so that is the number of experience points I have to begin with. And let us say that I want to create a new method on the spaceship. So I can create a new spaceship, a new method, public void fly around. Then I can take the captain dot set experience, captain dot get experience, and then I can add 1 to it. So now I'm actually manipulating with another object, and I can do that also. Let's say that the captain was actually given as an argument to this method right here. Then it would be the same. It would be a reference to the captain object, and that means that when I am manipulating and changing the state of this captain, then it will be, of course, changed globally. So that means that all the places that are where we have a reference, same reference to this captain, then we will see the changes inside of the state. Let us just try it out. So I'll say ship dot fly around. Now I'll just call this 3 times. So that means that then my experience should actually go up by 3. And I'll system out print line the captain like this. And when I print out Mike like this, then the toString method would automatically be run on the captain, and that does not look very pretty. So I want to override the toString method by pressing Alt Insert again right here. This is now I'm overriding a method from the object class. So that means that all classes extend from the object class, and on the object class we have these methods right here, equals and hash code toString. We also have something called Finalize, but that is deprecated and should not be called any longer. I will tell you why in just a minute. So now I'll create a new toString method right here, and you can see here got the annotation override, and here I am now overriding it with the member variables. So that means that this gives us a much more human readable output when we print it out. So now we are flying around, and let me also print out Mike before we fly around and after we fly around. So we can write before flying like this, and then we can write print out after flying. Like this, and let us try to run the program, and then we will see if my experience goes up after flying around with the spaceship. So here we see it flying. Before flying around, we have an experience of 10. After I've been flying around 3 times, then my experience is 13. That's pretty awesome, but we also need to know that that when we affect an object by reference, then of course this is changed throughout your whole application. So all the places where you have a reference to mic, then it would the effect will be will be seen all those places. Let me go back to Spaceship because there's something I want to show you right there. And there's something called overloading when you are creating a method. Right here, I have two static methods. That means that I can call these methods on the Spaceship directly. I do not need to create an instance of the Spaceship class. I do not need to have an object. I can just call these methods right here directly on a class, and we will try to do that in just a minute. And I have the two methods with the exact same name. Look, they are both called greeting message and greeting message, but one of them has one argument which takes the planets, and another one has the planet and the population of that planet. And you can see the return. You can actually see that the messages are different. We have one greeting message that returns welcome to planets, and we have another greeting message that will return to planet plus currently the population is, and then the number of people living on that planet at this point in time. So let us try to use these two methods right here. But this is called overloading. When you are overloading your method with more arguments than you had initially, then that's called overloading. And it's actually the same with constructors. You can also create constructor overloading. That means that you have multiple constructors with more arguments. So now I will comment out these lines again right here. I can actually let us comment. Yeah, let us actually create. We could actually create a new. Let us comment out it all of it right here. And then we create a new main method, because then we also get the practice on how to create the new main method. If you use IntelliJ, you can just write main, and then you get a new main method like this. And in this situation, I want to call Spaceship. Then I want to see which methods are static. I can see right here I have two static methods on the Spaceship. One is a greeting message, and then the planet, Mars, like this. And it returns something, we know that. So I can press Alt Enter, and then I can say introduce local variable, and then greeting 1. So that is the first method. Then I can press Control D for duplicate line. It's just because then I'm a bit lazy, then I don't need to write all of it again. And it's okay to be lazy when you're programming, because it will make more efficient code. So then we have population. And here we can say 200, and instead of Mars, we can say that this is Venus instead. Then that is greeting 2, and then we can print out these greeting messages right here, like this. Now let us try to run the program once again. And here we have it. Welcome to Mars. Welcome to Venus. Current population is 200. So that is how to use an overloaded method. In the old days, then it was very popular to use to override the finalize method, because all objects, when they are being garbage collected, when they're not used anymore, then there's a method named finalize, which is called, but it is not good practice anymore. It's actually deprecated, as you can see right here. But we will call it anyway, because we know that it can be done just for fun. So that means that the spaceship is being garbage collected like this. Because I'll tell you why. Actually, that's a very good explanation of why we should never use and never override the finalize method. It is very bad code to do that, but I'll just show you. Plus this, and the spaceship, I'll just overwrite the toString method also, so we get a good toString representation of the spaceship right there. So now we have overwritten finalize. So first we do what we're supposed to never do, because it's just to know. It's good to know what we should not do, right? So let us create a new spaceship right here. New spaceship. And here we'll say the model is, this could be a pyramid this time. And let us name the Captain Mike again. Oh, it needs to be a real captain, so it should be an instance of the captain class. So here I will create a Captain Mike with 5 experience points. And then I'll set this to a... Then we will set this to a local variable. And we can actually, just to make it a little bit more advanced, then I will actually place it down in the other method down here, because then we are creating a new spaceship, and then we are exiting the scope of other method, and then it will actually be garbage collected because it's not used anymore. So then we will call other method like this with a magic number of 50 this time. Just for fun, let us use the let us system out the spaceship also. So I will also system up the spaceship just so it's used. Now let us try to call the program and let us see if the finalize method is being called. And the finalize method, you don't know actually if it is called, and you don't know when it's called, but usually it is called. It also here we actually got an error right here. Uses overrided a deprecated API, and that's because we are using the. That's because we use the finalize. The finalize method. So here we have another method is being called. We print out the spaceship, and we actually don't get the output from the finalize class. Let me just check. Garbage. No, we do not get it, and that is because our program actually stops up here, and we don't know when the garbage collector is actually collecting this object right here, which is not used anymore. That is up to the garbage collector to decide. So that is another reason for never using the finalize method as right here. And we can also delete that one. Let us try again. Yeah, I'll show the documentation for whenever there's something deprecated. It's always a good idea to hold Control and then press the method right here, and then you can get a more then we can get a better explanation of why it should not be used. And here it is right here. Deprecated. We'll just go to the top right here. Yeah, deprecated. The finalization mechanism is inherently problematic, and it can lead to performance issues, deadlocks, and hangs. And the errors in the finalizers can lead to resource leaks, and there's no way to cancel a finalization if it's no longer necessary, and no ordering is specified. So yeah, so calls to methods of different objects. Yeah, we don't know when finalize is called an object, and there's actually no guarantee of the timing. And it's so that is why it is very we should never use finalize. We should never override the finalize method. So I'll just hurry up and delete these lines right here. That's actually it. This was what I had about methods. Try them out and play around with the methods yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we have a lot of cool things coming up. Bye.